Join us on April 25th for the 2024 Bench Draft Party. Free to join, live streamed on YouTube. We'll be reacting to every first-round pick, releasing exclusive content, and giving away new merch. Subscribe to the Bench Podcast on YouTube and turn on the notifications, and we will see you April 25th for the first round of the NFL Draft. What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Benched Podcast. My name is Joey, joined as always by my brother, co-host Angel. What's up, man?
What's up? What's going on?
I like the hat.
Yeah.
Peace. Someone point that out.
This is a local coffee shop in the place that we live.
Yeah, shout out to McKenna Coffee
McKenna
Company.
Coffee. Yep.
We should tag them. Maybe some free coffee.
Maybe.
Episode 117 today. It's we're kicking it old school.
Yep.
Just the OGs, baby.
Original recipe.
Original recipe show. Everyone else is out today. We're getting the day off because next week is a massive week, and we will start there.
Draft week.
Yeah, draft week. First,
holy hell.
No, I should wait.
Okay,
I'm not going to say it yet.
That's right.
If you're watching on YouTube for the first time, welcome to the show.
Hi.
Go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. We have a lot up right now, including our mock draft 2.0 that went up a couple days ago.
Yep.
Very excited about that. Mm-hmm. We had Terrell in the house. We had some trades. We had some
madness.
A completely different draft than 1.0. Check that out too. That's on the channel as well. Make sure you check those out.
Just to clarify.
Yep.
This is the mock draft. What we would do if we were the GMs before there's
kind of.
Yeah.
It's kind of a mixture, I think. Sometimes.
Yeah, it's a mixture of like what will probably happen.
You're right. It's us GMing.
And it's like if I was the Patriots GM, that's the only pick I'm thinking about is the Patriots pick.
Yeah, so if you're new to the channel, make sure you go check those out. Or if you're not new and haven't seen those yet, make sure you go and see that, especially before next Thursday. We will have one more mock draft next Wednesday coming out before the draft next Thursday. So
because we believe
very
in
excited
Trinities.
about that. Yes. That's definitely why, Angel.
The Holy Trinity.
Also, if you're listening on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or Amazon Music, wherever you get your podcast, thanks so much for joining the Bench Podcast, the audio version. So thanks to you all out there. Of course, follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. Search @Bench Show to follow us on all those social media platforms. Real Meat Potatoes show today.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We got some stories for sure, but we're going to get into, we're going to continue our draft needs series. We're going to jump over to the NFC East and the NFC South. If you need the NFC West or North, we covered that, I think, last week. You go check that out as well.
Yes.
But that's what we're doing today. We're going to look at the NFC East, NFC South. Should be fun. And we'll continue that into the AFC next week. But first, let's get a couple stories. Okay, and we'll start here. Travis Kelce is going to host Are You Smarter Than a Celebrity? I think it's a play on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
But I probably am.
Think so?
No. Well, it depends on the celebrity, but I mean,
I think you're thinking of Gronk.
Yeah, some athletes, I could feel like I'm smarter than you, but some celebrities, you're like, hey, probably not.
Travis and Jason really transitioning into the
Spotlight.
spotlight. Yeah. Their second acts are going to be massive.
I think if Travis Kelce wins the whole thing this year, like if they win the 3 in a row, he's gonna call it quits.
He should.
Like, what else do you have to? What else do you have to prove?
I mean, I hate to say it because he finished so strong, but retiring last year would have been kind of cool too.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? That would have been kind of cool just because. I mean, championship, Taylor Swift's there. You're walking off the field with Taylor Swift. Like, all right, I'm done.
I think they all had it in mind. Like, if we win this one, do 3 in a row, then I'll retire.
Yeah. Moving on here, the Jets quarterback Aaron Rodgers back in the news with something that's not about football.
Talk about a guy who I'm not smarter than.
Yeah, that's not the guy.
Yeah.
He says that the HIV was created by the government.
Yeah, because this is his ongoing battle with Fauci.
Yep.
So yeah, I guess the government created all these diseases. HIV. shout out to HIV.
Aaron Rodgers, man. He's definitely gonna be like have his own podcast. Like the Aaron Rodgers podcast is on its way.
Yes.
It's gonna be the same setup as Joe Rogan. He's gonna do the same thing.
Gonna be,
except his guests are gonna be a little more out there.
And he'll be way more controversial. And I just want to see. I thought he did a good job hosting Jeopardy.
I never saw that. Was it good?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's well spoken. He's smart.
Yeah.
He
Another
says
guy.
the game plan was made in the 80s. I mean, very different retirement plan than Travis Kelce.
Yeah,
but,
he's going tinfoil hat.
I mean, he's going for it.
Sometimes I hear these theories and I love theories. I'm like, maybe it was. I wouldn't doubt it.
Patrick Mahomes is on the cover of Time as one of the most influential people of 2024. He's really reaching a level now where he's a global superstar.
Michael Jordan era.
Yeah, this is his time. Even like talking to the draft, it's almost like in that mock draft, it's almost like a lot of these AFC teams. It's just like, how can you find a way to be even mentioned in the history of this era? Because Mahomes is hogging it all.
Yeah.
Like Jets, go make a move. Sorry, Jets. Bills, go make a move. Bengals, go get a receiver, because you just need to find a way to knock this man off the mountain, because he is firmly planted on the throne of the NFL at this point.
Yeah, in the 90s, it was everyone trying to beat Michael Jordan, and then he retired, then he came back. And then in the thousands, it was Shaq and then Kobe and all that. And then LeBron after that. You see these eras of players where they're just in their prime, where the whole league's like, just beat this one guy.
Yeah.
We just left one. His name was Tom Brady. Yep. And then the league thought they had a breather. Then this kid, Patrick Mahomes, comes in and is like, nope, I'm going to challenge that.
I was in the crowd when he was drafted.
We were in the crowd.
So you were
drafted.
Yes. In Philadelphia.
Legendary moment.
There on the Rocky steps. Moving on here, Jared Goff says being traded to the Lions was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. Now, he went to the Super Bowl with the Rams.
Yes.
He had an incredible start to his career with the Rams, kind of fizzled out there. Rebirth with the Lions, has enjoyed some success there as well. I guess I don't want to argue whether or not it's a great has ever happened to him.
Yeah.
I'm interested to know if he can find himself into a Super Bowl and win a Super Bowl. How much different do we think of Jared Goff? Is he just in the Matt Ryan range?
Well, currently, that's what he is.
Right, but if he wins a chip,
then
is he like Joe Flacco?
Yeah. That
Almost exactly like Joe Flacco.
No, literally Joe Flacco. No, if he wins a championship with the Lions, he'll go down like, he went to the Lions.
How about this?
Title.
Is he a Hall of Famer if he wins a
no
Super Bowl with the Lions?
No,
are you sure? His numbers are going to be better than people think.
And Joe Flacco better be a Hall of Famer then.
Joe Flacco didn't put up those kind of numbers when he was a defensive. It was a defensive team. Joe Flacco didn't light the world on fire for years and years like Goff. Goff is putting up incredible numbers throughout his career. Like I guarantee, I haven't looked at it, but I guarantee it's not even close. Goff and Flacco.
I always, when people ask about Hall of Famers, I always go back to what John Madden says. Could you write the story of the NFL without this player?
That's such a broad.
I love that because like if I could write a story about say the one, I don't know.
Here's why I don't love that, because that depends. Like, how have you experienced the NFL? A lot of people just don't pay attention to everything.
Yeah. And
so their story of the NFL doesn't include a lot of people.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean like that guy wasn't important to the grand scheme of things. It just means your experience of the NFL included these people, didn't include those people because you don't care about that team.
So, like, you're saying that one good season and a championship will get this guy into the NFL?
Not at all. One good season is not at all how I describe his career. He has had many good seasons. He took his team to the Super Bowl, like I said before. He has thrown for a lot of yards in his career. He's led literally top 5 offenses multiple times in his career. I don't know. I think you should put a little bit of respect.
Yeah, maybe. If he does, though,
I think it's a narrative.
What a story that would be. He went to Detroit, the town that's been known for losing forever.
I think a lot of people would struggle with it, though, because I think just the narrative would be hard for people to get over. No, I already know what Jared Goff is. Well, maybe you didn't.
Yeah. Moving on.
Of Jerry Jones. You brought it up before the show. I wasn't going to talk about it, but I feel like we've had some real glimpses into why the Cowboys are struggling this offseason. We had the Dalton Schultz story.
Yes.
We have the Dak weird thing. We have the CeeDee Lamb weird thing, or the Micah Parsons weird thing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're seeing a couple of things of just like, these feel like they're signs of a very like unhealthy organization, the way it's being run.
Yeah.
And then we get this video.
Yeah, the video, if you haven't seen it, go look it up.
I'm playing it now.
It's phenomenal. It's from last year. It's them discussing trades, and it was in the Cowboys war room during the draft last year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, it's a bunch of yes men around Jerry Jones.
It's disgusting.
And like, you watch, you're like, is anyone gonna have some conflict here? Is anyone gonna stand up for this player? Is anyone gonna stand on the table like, pick this guy, this is our guy? Even though Jerry Jones does draft very well. He has a lot of good players on his team. He always has like a lot of good players. But the point is, Like, is this a dictatorship or is it like a democracy?
It's Jerry Jones. He's the GM. He's the buck stops with him. All those cliches. It's Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
Like, he is the one still making football decisions, still making roster decisions, still making playbook decisions, which is insane.
Insane for an owner to
that he's doing that. Yeah, there's no way he could possibly do all those things well, and he hasn't. It is amazing that the Cowboys have been generally a good team, but there's been a couple of things where they failed over and over again, and I think that starts and ends with Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
If you think about it, the Cowboys are the most famous, maybe besides the Yankees and the Dodgers, the most famous organization in sports around the world.
Maybe thanks to Jerry Jones. But
yeah. I'm saying, like,
it's a double-edged sword here.
But I'm saying, no, like, my point is though, like, why can that organization not ever land a true marquee coach? Why has the big dog? Why is Sean Payton not there? You know what I'm saying? Why are these big dog star head coaches, Andy Reid, those guys? Why is that guy not there? Why are they constantly hiring Mike McCarthy, who was fired from Green Bay, and go down the list, of guys that they've had head coach there? And I think it has to do with this guy, Jerry Jones.
And it won't end soon until he retires or something horrible happens. But
Dies.
I'm not gonna wish death upon Jerry.
I'm not gonna
Jones.
wish. I'm saying that's what you're trying to say.
No, but he's getting older, and I think maybe, hopefully, he'll take a step back. Maybe if I take a step back and get someone else to, maybe his son, Stephen Jones, he was sitting there waiting for his dad to pass it on. Dad,
possibly.
please. I don't know, but the video is pretty ridiculous, though.
It's pretty wild.
Someone needs to stand up to him. No one in that room is.
If they do, they're probably not gonna be in that room very long.
Yeah.
Moving on here, a couple people were signed. And I want to touch on that real quick. The first one is DeForest Buckner. He signs there a contract to stay in Indianapolis for a while.
Yes.
Has been the cornerstone, not only of that defense, but of that team for a couple years now. When Shaq Leonard didn't work out and, they've had trouble at quarterback and Andrew Luck's gone, he's been the leader, the rock, the constant thing in that organization.
Yeah, and ever since they traded for him with the Niners, they signed him right away, and then this is his second deal with him now.
It's a great trade.
He's just been solid for them. That's and he's kind of the face of that nameless defense. Kind of, it's him and Kenny Moore really. But yeah, he's a phenomenal player and a 2-year extension for a team that believes that they have a real shot.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's and this is also what you can do when you don't pay a quarterback. You still have Anthony Richardson on a rookie deal, so you can afford to pay these guys like this.
Was a Pro Bowler last year, was in the last year of his contract, signs a 2-year, $46 million deal. Good for you, DeForest Buckner. My Eagles did a little signing. They sign and they extend Devonta Smith. Was heading into last year of his contract. They pick up that 5th-year option, so it's technically a 4-year deal or a 3-year deal.
Yeah. Eagles are doing Eagle things where they beat the market every freaking year. T. Higgins, Brandon Ayuk, Justin Jefferson, CeeDee Lamb.
They get ahead of all that.
Beat them all. Because I heard someone say today, I'm not gonna say it. It's not a bad phrase when your team sets the mark, sets a new market, because that means everyone else is just gonna go above you.
Right.
So you set the now new low, the nice low. He's getting paid tremendously lower than all those, than T. Higgins, and I'm not sure if I would take those guys over a Devonta Smith.
I mean, they're certainly comparable, whether or not you want to take them over or not. I mean, but it's a good number. I'm trying to find it. I can't find the number. Could you find that? I have something else on my screen right now.
Yeah.
But the cap hits are awesome. Let me read you the cap hits over the 5-year. This is some Howie magic. All right. So for this first year, $8 million only. Next year, only $7 million. The year after that, only $10 million, and then 14 and 20. So very low cap hits. They'll be able to work still with the other large contracts they have in this team, because they do have some massive contracts on this Eagles team now. The Eagles now have the 4th highest paid quarterback, the 4th highest paid running back, the 4th and 5th highest paid wide receivers, the 5th highest paid tight end, the 4th and 5th highest paid offensive tackles, and the highest paid guard. Eagles dishing out a lot of money. Okay.
But the important thing is that these aren't some teams do this and pay crap players while they do this. These players are all stars.
Here's what I love about this. I mean, quarterback, we drafted him. That's the second contract. Yeah. That's Jalen Hurts. Running back, we did sign him. He's a free agent. Paid a lot of money for him. Yeah. Receiver, we traded for A.J. Brown. We drafted Devonta Smith. Yeah. Tight end, we drafted Dallas Goedert. Tackle, we drafted both of them. That's Mailata in the 7th round. And, of course, Lane Johnson. And then at guard, it's Landon Dickerson. So a lot of these guys are homegrown guys you keep around. I can't out of one side of my mouth kill the Giants for not keeping Julian Love and Xavier McKinney, the guys that they are homegrown and they developed and now stars, and kill them for not paying those guys, keeping them long term, and then hate on the Eagles for keeping their guys around. This means you have a lot of good players. It means you have good players you want to keep in the building. Most teams should want this. It has to be the right guys, like you were kind of mentioning. And I feel like it's the right guys, but it does open up a conversation of, hey, this is the window.
Yep.
Like you're in the window. It's time to win a Super Bowl.
Yeah, and you just lost Jason Kelce, so now and Fletcher Cox. So now you're like, we got to make sure that we didn't miss the win. Like, this why right there is so aggressive. Like, let's not just say our window's done. Let's try to make this window longer, so maybe we have more chances to win a chip here. Because for all this, hype that they've had, they haven't won one with Jalen Hurts yet. So
not yet. Maybe it's coming. Maybe this year.
Maybe. I mean, according to you and AJ, they're already Super Bowl champs, right?
Dolphins picked up the 5th-year option on Jalen Waddle. Still no contract extension there. That'll be a story.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be a story next year probably. We'll mention that. We'll visit again later when it's a thing. But there's a couple of big-time holdouts that are kind of brewing.
Yeah.
They're not. I don't know if I'm called a holdout yet because all I've done is miss voluntary workouts, which are just that voluntary. Doesn't have to happen. First one, we'll start with your boy, Courtland Sutton. Now, Courtland Sutton, kind of the last man standing there on the Broncos, right? As far as like the original like wide receiver room that they had. He did not show up Monday for voluntary workouts. Going on his 10th starting quarterback in 7 seasons. Only $2 million guaranteed left on his contract. Had a good year last year.
Yeah.
Kind of operate as their number one. Is that fair?
Yeah.
10 touchdowns. What did I say something wrong?
No, it's just weird. And I love Courtland Sutton.
Yeah.
But like, you've only passed 900 yards one time in your career. You
got to strike with iron top, baby.
Only had one double-digit touchdown season. That was last season.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's just cool it a little bit. Maybe you can pay just, I think $13 million. That's just, that's good enough for you. But I get it. Go get your money. Also, he might be thinking like, this is my last time to get a contract.
Yeah, I mean, or he might just think, get me the hell out of here. I'm done with Denver.
Maybe, yeah.
7 quarterbacks in 10 years. Obviously, that's not all. It is all in Denver. God.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not great. That can't be enjoyable. Great. Some of those names, I'm sure, have been, wow, that's really bad.
Yeah.
He might want to get me to a contender. Get me to someone where I'll enjoy the season a little more than I am right now.
And his contract is very easily moved. I think it's only $2 million.
Only $2 million guaranteed.
Yeah, so you can move that. He might be a sleeper if they need to move up and then in the first round or something to throw him in a trade.
Well, I'll tell you what, someone that we've liked him to go to before, I like even more now, and that's the Buffalo Bills. They could really use a Courtland Sutton now.
And I feel like
Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I feel like you can get him for a 3rd round pick, and you have at least the.
Oh, way less than a 3rd round pick. Do you think?
I'm being optimistic.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like he's pretty.
What did Deontay Johnson go for? I forgot. I think a 2nd or a 3rd or something.
Yeah, and you would take Deontay Johnson over Courtland Sutton. So yeah, I think Courtland Sutton might be a sleeper pick to be traded away here if we say the Broncos, stick and pick, and we just pick the best. There's a lot of wilds. So maybe pick a wideout at number 12. I don't know.
I'm trying to remember what Judy went for. I think Judy went for a 4th and a 5th.
And Judy went for absolutely nothing.
So he went for
a can of Coke and some
less than that.
Yeah, it's
might be cheap.
Yeah, Broncos are a fun team to follow. I'm so glad I'm a fan of them.
Draft's coming. Yep. A new day.
A bright future is ahead of us.
CeeDee Lamb, the other one we need to pay attention to here. This is a quote from Adam Schefter. The Dallas Cowboys may not see CeeDee Lamb again until he gets a contract extension. Again, this is something the Cowboys have prepared for, planned for, and they know they have to pay him. They want to pay him, but the two sides right now aren't close on a long-term deal. Thoughts?
So you prepared to be not close.
I prepared. What I've prepared is not close to what he wants.
What I prepared for you is off. But still tell them that we prepared for this.
Right.
No, you haven't prepared for this. I still think they don't know who to sign.
I think it's funny how when Jared Jones is trying to spin a headline, it's so obvious.
Yeah.
Like, hey, make sure you tell them that we've prepared for this.
Yeah. Okay. Question for you: Who would you sign first, or who would you sign? CeeDee Lamb or Micah Parsons? Because both guys are going to reset the market, so you better be all in on one of them.
I'd send Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
I think CeeDee Lamb is really good. You're losing a great player no matter what, but I think it's harder to get a Micah Parsons than it is a CeeDee Lamb.
And this is not saying that they can't sign both. Maybe they can sign both, but I'm just saying, like, it feels like they're going to – I feel like Dak is already out the door.
Might be.
And then now they're like, let's see if we can get – I don't know. I mean, what an interesting situation they have. I'm glad that I don't have to make it because I don't know who I would choose, Parsons or CeeDee Lamb, but
yeah. I mean, this is why it feels good that, okay, Devonta contract's in the books, and I don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it, no.
Last one here is Justin Jefferson, obviously a huge name. He does not show up for voluntary workouts. Again, voluntary workouts. Don't want to freak out, but the question was asked to Kevin O'Connell, hey, where's Justin Jefferson? And that's going to be the question until you see him.
Mm-hmm.
Earlier in the offseason, to touch on CeeDee Lamb one more time, he gave the quote, I'll be in Dallas.
Yeah.
He didn't say he'd be in camp. He didn't say he'd be playing for his team this year. He wouldn't. And I don't want to be like, I don't want to be petty that way, but I know these guys are wordy and petty that way.
Yes.
And so you want to pay attention to the details here because they do things on purpose. They post things on purpose.
Yeah.
They unfollow teams on purpose. They like tweets on purpose. All that is on purpose. They play those games. Okay. Brandon Ayuk's playing those games right now.
Yeah.
So Justin Jefferson not showing up to voluntary workouts when the team's kind of leaderless right now.
Yeah.
When they don't, who's going to be the quarterback? Daniel Hunter's gone. Like, what is the identity of this team? I don't know if anyone knows right now. You would think your superstar face of the franchise would at least be present. And he wasn't present. Is this a thing, or what do you think?
It's interesting because ever since he got, I think the second year, like when obviously when he's doing his thing, now everyone, even back then, was like, what's he going to sign for? Now that we're finally here, now it's like, all right, Minnesota, it's time to it's time.
Let's stop messing around.
Stop messing around here. Okay, yeah. I know you want to sign all these other guys, but let's not forget this guy literally is breaking Jerry Rice, Randy Moss records.
Yeah,
like let's not forget how freaking talented and how he already has a Hall of Fame resume, and he's only not even 25 yet.
Yeah, I mean we'll definitely keep posted on. I mean these huge names: CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, and
Ayuk,
Jalen Waddle,
yeah.
Ayuk.
Yeah,
I mean and Courtland Sutton, all these different names that are popping up now as the offseason goes on. Let this thing cook a little bit. This segment is brought to you by Dad Gang Hats. Dad Gang makes the highest quality hats in the apparel industry because they use premium materials, pay close attention to detail, and prioritize durability and comfort. With so many styles, colors, and designs, they absolutely have the right hat for you and the dad in your life. Use code BENCHED76826. That's BENCHD 76826. For 15% off your first purchase. Shop Dad Gang Hats, quality hats for quality dads. Okay, we are back, and we're going to get into the draft needs for the NFC South and NFC East. Again, we did cover already the NFC West and North in our show, in 2 shows ago, right before Mock Draft 2.0. Make sure you check that out as well. But let's start here with the NFC South. And in the NFC South, let's start with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Still feel like this team is, how do I say it? Getting over Tom Brady, not that that's still like hanging around too much, but I feel like I don't know what this team is yet. I don't know what the next really good version of this team is going to look like yet. Yeah,
well, I mean, they got a nice rebound. I mean, I'd call it rebound with Baker Mayfield. They kind of found their kind of
short-term rebound. What do you call that? I mean, when you're dating, what's a good
like you were dating the hot girl, and I dating like the girl next door.
Now you're dating a really good girl.
Yeah, like now you're dating.
It's probably not going to go the distance, but she's really good for you.
Yeah, and like you have some good memories. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this is a great analogy.
I like it. Let's talk football.
Yeah.
I have their needs, and I'll let you get into this. O-line, edge, and quarterback.
Yeah.
Cornerback.
Yeah.
Let's talk O-line first. That cool?
Yes.
Okay, so they signed Sua Peta to play guard. And
you know about him, about this guy.
Former Eagle. Swing guard for the Eagles, kind of was on and off the practice squad. Decent player, but could stand to upgrade him at guard, and they can use a center.
Yeah.
Someone who can do both of those would be great. Fortunately, there's 2 of those guys in the first round. So Graham Barton, Jackson Powers Johnson, both have done both of those jobs. That'd be interesting to see if they prioritize this enough to go get those guys. Back-to-back years, dead last in rush yards per game.
Yeah.
This team cannot run the ball.
Yeah, but I don't think this is the draft to fix it. I think
not at running. I'm talking about O-line.
Oh, yes.
About O-line.
And in a draft, I mean, they're currently, I mean, if they move up, they're picking 26.
Yeah.
Where you can still find a good lineman there. I think a center and right guard, obviously, kind of their needs. I think, honestly, also, they got to start looking at wide out here. Because Godwin's big.
Before we move off offensive line real quick, Liam Cohen did say he started off his first meeting with his players emphasizing the run game and how the Bucs are going to prioritize the run game and making it more efficient once again. That's why I say O-line. You think receiver. I don't think so, but tell me why.
Well, because the cap number for Chris Godwin's getting big, and it's getting easier to get off him as years go on. And I think you have
But why would you want to get off Chris Godwin?
No, I think just to help you save.
Oh, it's like
some
reset
money.
it with a young
Yeah.
receiver?
It's not me saying cut Chris Godwin. It's me saying
like we go
maybe
try
in
to find someone like him,
in
or-
the second round with one of these players, maybe they fall. Maybe we draft a guy so that
Yeah.
way, if we need to move on from Chris Godwin, we have a guy ready to go.
So they just have their second. So you're thinking someone at second? Or are you telling me 26 overall? They should be looking at receiver.
26 overall lineman, best available lineman, or cornerback, obviously.
Yeah.
I think in my mock when I picked for I had to pick in a cornerback.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot. It's a fun team because they're good, but you don't really get excited.
Yeah.
So like if if one of these players they draft becomes a superstar, maybe that puts them over the edge here.
Yeah. You mentioned cornerback. They have Zion McCollum, which is kind of a young guy they've had in the waiting.
Yeah.
I think he's decent. And Jamel Dean's fine. They lost Carlton Davis to the Lions. He was kind of their number one. Yeah. I think another need that you didn't mention is edge. Yeah. A true number one pass rusher. Yeah. They have Joe Tyron Shoyinka.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's been there a while, but he hasn't really like kicked it off.
He's fine. Yeah. And they signed Randy Gregory. That's not nearly enough. Yeah. Now you play in division now with what looks like is going to be one of the best offenses in the league with Kirk Cousins. You better be able to get to him. Yeah. And those guys are not going to get it done.
Yeah. Edge rusher, maybe if Chop Robinson falls, maybe you just take you take a shot there.
Yeah.
But I mean, we did enough mocks. People have done enough mocks. Lineman kind of where I would prioritize number one priority there.
Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah. I think just the necessity to run the ball when Baker Mayfield's your quarterback is something you prioritize. Let's move on here to the Atlanta Falcons, the team I did reference there. Kirk Cousins, of course, comes to town. I love what they have at really all of their weapon rooms as far as receiver, tight end, running back.
Offensively, they've kind of signed their offensive weapons and then drafted. They've done a phenomenal job drafting. Not only their weapons, obviously, with Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, their whole line is tough people that they drafted.
Solid,
and they're very good.
Yep.
So I think defense, cornerback, edge rusher, that's kind of where I would lean. Also, AJ Terrell entering a contract year.
Yes.
Might want to think, okay, let's sign a guy. So when we sign AJ Terrell, maybe we could pair him with somebody. Or worst case scenario, like what Philadelphia Eagles do, you have someone right there just waiting just in case something bad happens.
Here's the thing. I had cornerback as their first need because of the AJ Terrell situation.
Yeah.
He might not be back. Clark Phillips behind him, that's not enough. They're going to need someone else in that room, maybe even this year. But with them entering what I think is a true Super Bowl window, with Kirk Cousins, who is older, coming off an Achilles, you need to go win this thing right now. Yeah. An edge rusher is something they need right now.
I mean, they're picking number 8, so you can get pretty much your choice. I don't think I've seen anyone else pick. I don't think I've seen a mock where an edge rusher has gone be 4-8.
And I have two names here, and that's Dallas Turner, Jared Verse.
Yeah.
If one of those guys ends up on this team, I think that's a huge boost for their even like that could be much more influential to their Super Bowl run than a third cornerback.
Yeah. And obviously Raheem Morris, defensive minded head coach, he gets his pick of which one. Maybe he likes Latu even more than those two guys. I mean, he gets to choose whichever guys he wants. He gets to choose whatever guys he wants. So pretty good spot that they're in to be so stacked on paper and then have a top 10 pick to just kind of throw into this roster. Pretty good. And also, like you said, Kirk Cousins, older, Achilles injury, might want to think of an impact player right away instead of a developmental player.
Yep, I like it. They are picking
number 8.
Number 8, right. Yeah. Let's move on here to the New Orleans Saints. Derek Carr, New Orleans Saints. They can use a quarterback. But they're stuck with Derek Carr.
What's funny about their roster, at least defensively, okay, Carl Granderson, Chase Young, edges. Cam Jordan in the middle. DeMar Davis, obviously, middle linebacker. Willie Gay, weak side linebacker. You have Marshall Lattimore. You have Tyrann Mathieu. On paper,
really
you're
good.
This team is a pretty good team.
Yeah.
But like you said, they need a quarterback. Yeah, but they also have one of the worst lines besides the Commanders line I've seen.
What's sad about their line too is it's full of just misses.
Eric McCoy is the only guy who's like
Cesar Ruiz is just okay, but he's good enough.
Never popped.
Ryan Ramczyk might not play this year. That's a big concern. And then Trevor Penning has never turned into that franchise tackle.
And James Hurst is
that needed him to be. Also, Andrus Pete shifted over from tackle to guard last year. Couldn't hack it at tackle. So I think most people are going to have tackle, their number one option, no matter what. And what we're saying is there's also a lot of other holes.
Yeah, but
on offense.
Yeah. I think they because they're really old on defense too.
Yeah,
I know they just signed Chase Young, but these guys they're not getting younger, and I think maybe there's some corners there that they like, or some edge rushers.
They signed Chase Young.
Yeah, Chase Young landed there for a 1-year deal because that's where he is now.
Here's the thing with the Saints: they act in the way they sign people like they're in a Super Bowl window. Like they believe they are going. I mean, which is fine, except there's not a lot of building for the future. Signing a Chase Young to a short-term deal. Tyrann Mathieu, I think they extended him right this offseason. I mean, not a lot of long-term deal. I expect that to be the plan too in the draft.
Might be a sleeper quarterback if Bo Nix falls. Maybe they just say.
See, I don't think that's exactly what I think they're not going to do.
Yeah.
Is like do something for the future.
Yeah, and they can get away, I guess, with Derek Carr for 1 more year because at 14 you're gonna have a really good pick. If all these quarterbacks and wideouts go top 10, really good pick of one of these premier left tackles.
Olu Fashanu, Fuaga.
A lot of
those guys are going to be there.
Yeah, and you can just say, well, we'll do 1 more year of Derek Carr, but at least we'll have our franchise left tackles. That way, when we come back next year, maybe we're in the market again, we'll have at least a left tackle, someone to protect them.
That's what I'd do. I'd go left tackle for sure. Saints are picking number 14, like you said. Usually a good spot. Kind of just a good spot for people falling.
And this draft too, like we said, deep lineman class, one of the deepest linemen I've ever seen. So
I think the deepest position group, like wide receivers deep. I guess quarterbacks fairly deep. With there being that many first round quarterbacks.
Like a broad view. I think it's a
tackle.
If you need a tackle or a wideout, this is your draft.
Let's move over now to the runt of the litter here. The Carolina Panthers. Now,
no
of course,
pun intended to Bryce Young.
They had a rough season. There's no other way to put it. They had a terrible season. Everything that could have gone wrong did. Head coach fired. Your first overall pick is not very good. All these signings that you made that were supposed to be the support system for him. Yeah. Miles Sanders kind of flames out. Looks like a terrible contract.
You never signed Burns.
Thielen's okay. Yeah, you never signed Burns. You did keep Derek Brown in the fold, which is good. You signed a ton of people, and we were kind of going through this before the show here and kind of prep. And in looking at their roster, it's better than you think.
How did we become the Panthers apologists? We're always saying this roster is good.
No, I'm not. I have not said that once on the show.
I've always been like they're better than people think. Like the roster on paper is better than what people.
I think that think. Now because of this they've done a lot this offseason. Yeah. People they've added this offseason as far as starters: Dane Jackson, Jadeveon Clowney, Josie Jewell, DJ Wanham. Of course, signed Derek Brown long term. A'Shawn Robinson, I think he's new to the fold as well. Yeah. They've brought a lot of talent to this defense, which is, I mean, those names right there, no superstars, but like very capable veteran defenders who are going to just help the floor of this defense.
Kind of comparable like to the Colts, like no superstars anywhere, but very good players, throughout.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then
with one Derek Brown.
Yeah, and then Derek Brown in the middle. But offensively, Damian Lewis and Robert Hunt. What?
I'm talking what you're saying. Yeah,
Damian Lewis, Robert Hunt.
Yeah,
kind of feels. I think they might have overpaid for both these guys, but still, I think last year you saw for all Bryce Young's flaws or whatever, he had no time. So I think this is a nice answer. I don't think it's the greatest answer, but I think it's a nice response to that. Is let's get these two guards, sign them. We have tackles that we kind of believe in, so we kind of get away with an okay offensive line. I think this helps out Bryce Young a lot more. And then obviously you trade for Deontay Johnson. Significantly improves that wideout room. I don't love it, but I like it. It's better than last year.
The Panthers don't have their first round pick, of course, traded to the Bears. They would love that. That would be a very interesting conversation this year.
Yeah.
Maybe Bryce Young would be the one being traded instead of Justin Fields, but they have the first pick in the second, which is usually a really good pick. Who do you like? What would you focus? Having mentioned all those position needs.
Well, I know this guy. Devonta Smith, the Texas tackle, who is supposed to be a first rounder, maybe he falls second round, maybe you pick him there and you put him right next to you put him right next to
Derek Brown.
Derek Brown. Honestly, wideout here, there's some pretty good wideouts there just sitting there, and Adam Thielen's old, and Mingo hasn't showed anything. Maybe you just say let's just draft the best wideout and just see if we can pair Bryce Young with somebody. This team has a lot of needs.
Deontay Johnson, Thielen, Mingo. That's not a terrible room, but you can definitely use like a
nice youthful superstar.
Add some talent there.
Not superstar,
and that's the thing really about this roster is that there's very few positions that couldn't use an upgrade.
Yeah,
even like their position of strength on the offensive line.
Yeah.
like their tackles. I'd still like if there's a good tackle there, I still wouldn't hate it if they went and got a really good tackle.
Yeah.
Like I'm not sure that those guys are great either.
Yeah.
There's really not a lot of positions that you can't say that about. That's the thing about the Panthers. I think they should truly be best available.
Yeah, best available because you have so many needs. Maybe just say we're just gonna get better slowly. Interested to see maybe the Bryce Young thing's just funny to talk about because does he suck? We don't know, but he's not good. That's what we do know. So whatever. That's Carolina's. Whatever.
I think they'll be better than last year.
Yeah,
I do. I do like I like what the new GM. I can't think of his name right now. Dan Morgan. Yeah, Dan Morgan. I like what he's done on defense.
And then
I like
Canales.
the players he's brought in. Canales. We'll see. I don't know much about him.
He's kind of a stud, by the way. Side note. I saw his welcome thing. He's like ripped. He's like kind of a stud.
Like physically.
Yeah, I don't think that adds to any kind of win-loss record, but still, I just little
I mean, I'm surprised you're the guy saying that. You kind of hated that about Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, he's not being a cool guy. Cool guy Cliff.
The weirdest.
Cool guy Cliff was like the picture of him at the draft with the shoes and then the house, and then whatever.
Let's move over now to the NFC East, and we'll start where most storylines start in the NFC East, and that is in Dallas with Jerry. We touched a little bit on this whole organization in the news. Newsflash, it wasn't that positive. I swear I don't come into the show thinking I'm going to rip on the Cowboys. They've had a rough offseason.
I think you come into it with very bad intentions.
Listen, then you don't know Eagle fans, because if I was being an Eagle fan up here, I would just say fuck the Cowboys every show.
You do that, but in your own way.
Okay.
No.
Let's talk about Cowboys here. Let's talk about their needs. I think it begins and ends with a tackle.
Yep. Tyler Smith, they drafted him to be a left tackle. Yeah. He was just an all-pro guard. So maybe you're thinking maybe at I think they pick where they are.
They're picking 24th.
24th. Maybe I had them mocking I never get his name right.
Jackson Powers Johnson.
Jackson Powers Johnson. I don't know why I can't get those freaking things right.
Because you don't know if Jackson goes on the beginning or the end.
Yeah,
it seems like a last name.
Yeah. Powers Johnson. If he lands there, if they can move up to him, because they just lost their center from last year.
Now, he doesn't play tackle.
No, but center. I think any kind of fit on the O-line would do great because they keep losing guys. Obviously, this year they've lost 3 starters.
And that's what you think of when you think of the Cowboys.
Yeah.
A really good offensive line play.
Yeah. And then I'm cool with their corners. They have obviously Parsons at the D-line.
Gilmore's still free agent.
Take a little peek at the wideout spot. Brandon Cooks, old. Jalen Tolbert hasn't showed anything. And then you have this weird CeeDee Lamb thing. Maybe you say, let's just try a lot of good wildouts. Maybe you move up to the top of the second round, pick a Xavier Worthy, one of these guys.
That'd be interesting if they're a team to keep an eye on if someone falls.
Yes.
If Brian Thomas Jr., that'd be probably a good name. Yeah. I think Odunze, Neighbors, obviously Marvin Harrison are gone pretty early no matter what. Yeah. Can't see those guys falling. But Brian Thomas Jr., if he falls, he's kind of that middle guy. Maybe they're one of the teams trying to outbid the Bills to go get Brian Thomas Jr. That's kind of a good point. They might be a sneaky team to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and obviously I think we kind of theorized it. Don't be surprised in 3rd, 4th round they see Spencer Rattler there. They see some of these guys, some of these quarterbacks, and let's just take a shot at one of these guys and just see what happens.
I do want to bring up running back. Now, obviously, do not take a running back with your first pick.
No.
But they signed Royce Freeman today.
Yeah.
They have 5'5", whatever.
Small man.
Yeah, very small man. I don't remember his name. Sorry.
Deuce Vaughn.
Sorry, buddy.
Deuce Vaughn.
Deuce Vaughn, yeah. That's Rico Dowdle, and that's all they have.
Yeah.
Those 3 there. That is not the running back room that's going to get it done for that team. I think it's quite the step down even from a bad Tony Pollard year.
Yeah.
I think they could use a running back maybe in that 2nd, 3rd round.
Yeah.
I think so. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's not a strong running back class. Not a lot of, but I think to take a shot.
There's some good ones, though.
They just signed Royce Freeman, so maybe they're just thinking maybe we could just do a rotation. I know. Royce Freeman is just, I know, but maybe second round they pick towards the end. Maybe one of these guys falls, or they can move up 5-10 picks to get one of these top of their class running backs. Yeah. So, but I would prioritize offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys though.
For sure. I think if they can land Jackson Powers Johnson, I think they will.
Yeah. Or one of these
that
tackles
just seems like one of those guys. Yeah. Or if I mean, and that's the thing too about this deep class is that at the end you get these guys that are like someone might love a JC Latham.
Yeah.
Someone might love a Tyler Guyton.
Yeah.
Someone might love one of those guys and just think
Latham's a good fit there, actually.
Big tackle. That seems like that's their type of guy. I'm saying like that's what I'm saying. They might be in love with one of these guys and we don't know it yet, and that'll be the pick.
Yeah. Interesting to see Jerry just go over every scout's head and just pick whoever he wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on here to the Washington Commandos.
Listen.
Adam Peters is doing a fun job.
Listen.
He's doing a very fun job. Terrell has this team making a late playoff push. On the last show.
I might be here with him.
Wow. Drinking the Kool-Aid, huh? You saw that picture of Austin Eckler with the shirt off.
Damn. No. Okay. They did this thing where they do a bunch of one-year deals. And they had decent. Their line was just absolute dog shit last year. Ask Sam how that went. They signed Nick Allegretti, Chiefs hero.
Yeah.
They signed Byatt. I can never get his last name right.
The Dallas Cowboys.
Tyler Byatt. Mm-hmm. Yeah. They signed him. So they kind of patchwork that interior. They can still use a left tackle. Yeah. So left tackle would be priority 1, behind number 2, picking Jaden Daniels or Drake May or whoever you see fit. But yeah, that would be number 1 and 2 and 3 for me would be left tackle. I think if you draft a rookie quarterback who's gonna be your future,
you're saying after quarterback, right?
Yeah, no, I'm saying that. Yeah, okay. After quarterback,
the number 2 overall pick being a quarterback.
Yeah. Okay. So after that, priority 1, 2, and 3 after picking best quarterback would be left tackle.
Interesting. Adam Schefter went on, I think, his podcast or another podcast and basically said, or verbatim said, I think you can go start buying those Jaden Daniels jerseys. Yeah. So he is pretty sure that Jaden Daniels is going to be a Washington Commander and join this roster. They've really added the 2018 All-Star team here this offseason. Austin Eckler, Zach Ertz, Bobby Wagner. Yeah. Even Jeremy Chin is kind of a little long in the tooth. Still very good, but a little long in the tooth.
Frankie Lou was pretty good.
Very good.
Yes.
Dante Fowler is a fine rotational piece. Yeah. They've kind of done a little bit of the level of Carolina Panthers type additions. Yeah. Bigger names, but older players and kind of just the same talent level.
What I do like about them, though, is that they didn't overcommit to these guys. They give them one-year deals or 2-year kind of, fugazi deals. So that's what I like about it. And, yeah, I think they're set up to be better than people think. NFC, I don't want to share they're going to playoffs, but they'll be better than people think.
They're not making playoffs, but...
Well, they're not.
I don't think they will. I'd be very surprised.
It depends.
But the first year of a full rebuild.
Yeah.
Like from the front office up. Yeah. Like a full rebuild. I think Commanders fans have a lot to be excited about.
Yeah. Dan Quinn coming to town with that aggressive defense.
Yeah. Yep. No more Dan Snyder.
Yeah.
Now you got a new Dan in town.
Yeah. The other guys.
What an uninspiring head coaching hire.
Yeah, that's if it was like a Ben Johnson.
I was starting to feel
Bobby
really good, and then you mentioned Dan Quinn. I was like, oh yeah.
Well, I'm trying to think positively. Maybe
Cliff Kingsbury in town.
Yeah, Cliff will kind of operate as
fun.
Yeah, he'll kind of make that offense sexy. Yeah, and then Dan Quinn will make that defense tough, and maybe that fits into a playoff run, and maybe that does or just ends up being just a better team.
Do you think that's the way Dan Quinn's gonna run things? Yeah, I think Cliff take the offense.
I'm thinking Sean McVay, Wade Phillips when they won the Super Bowl, like 2 different entities.
Not bad.
Same team.
Not bad. So on here to the New York Football Giants, led by, of course, Daniel Jones. One of the more interesting teams when it comes to what they're going to do with their draft. They're, of course, picking number 6.
Yes.
Kind of right outside where we think a lot of the quarterbacks will be, but high enough where someone really good is going to be there. Is it a tackle? Is it Joe Alt? Is it Marvin Harrison Jr.? Who knows going to be at that 6th pick? But as far as needs, how do you see it?
They did some patchwork on the O-line. John Runyon, Green Bay, right guard, so he'll fit right in. Swing tackle, Jermaine Illuminor. He kind of is just a backup, so I guess you would be because
I look for it up.
Too, Evan Neal is just a bust. So I think in the last year, and also you have to think Dable. Might be his second to last year here, so maybe he's being aggressive. Yeah, but obviously the whole thing is quarterback. You can pick a quarterback. I'm not sure. They can do a lot. He's a quarterback. He's a wideout. I had them picking a wideout, picking either whatever's left behind Marvin Harrison Jr., whichever one you like. Wideout and then offensive line probably. Their front, by the way, with the addition of Brian Burns, Dexter Lawrence, Thibodeau, pretty decent front.
By far the best group they have.
Yes.
Wide receiver has been a problem for them for the last couple of years.
Long time.
Haven't been able to figure it out. When they do figure it out, that guy can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
So they're really struggling with that. Darren Waller, that's a big question mark on this organization. I think this might be a sleeper spot for Brock Bowers because of the offense that Dable wants to run, or at least what we've seen so far with Daniel Jones in New York, that short to intermediate game. The big question with them is, are they a surprise team to go and grab a quarterback?
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked about this at all.
Not enough, yeah.
Drake May has been the only guy who I've seen where it's like he could fall. Because everyone else just... What's happened with Drake May is that he's getting the same amount of love he's gotten the whole season.
Literally has not changed.
But everybody else is getting the latest and greatest. You know, like the newest edition. So I'm wondering if that pushes him back for whatever reason. I'm not a big Drake May guy. But still, I wonder if that pushes him back maybe at 5. And maybe they're like, if we just move up one spot and just we can get Drake May and then have a competition there. I don't know. It's interesting. I would have to get a wideout like a Doomsday or like a Neighbors if they're there, which they should be there. But yeah, sleeper pick to be a quarterback team because they
don't pick till the 15th pick in the second round. So quite a ways between picks here. I think they might be another sleeper team. I know we're saying that word a lot, but in the draft, things to keep an eye on to maybe even trade up from 6 if they want a quarterback and they think if we stay at 6. That guy's not going to fall to us.
Yeah.
We're going to jump by the Vikings. We're going to jump by the Raiders. One of these other teams are getting a quarterback. They might trade with the Cardinals. That might be an underrated trade. That might be a good trade for the Cardinals, too. Hey, just move 2 spots back.
Collect some assets. And you can still pick a wideout there if that's what you're going for. But yeah, Giants are interesting. I'm not sure how aggressive Dable would be. All I'm thinking is that if this is last year, I'm not sure if he wants to go down with Daniel Jones.
Has to win, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's move on to the last team we're going to
cover. I knew you were going to do this.
Yep. Because they're my boys, and I'm the host of the show.
Yep.
That is the Philadelphia Eagles. Of course, had the just horrific end to last year's season, losing, I think, 5 out of the last 7.
I would describe it as an awkward end.
It's just a weird end, a cringy end. I mean, players fighting at the end, just no effort in the playoff game against the Buccaneers. Just a weird, really, really weird end to the season. Just bad vibes, as bad as they can be.
Pretty much.
I think it's been a good offseason. I think as far as morale goes, some of these re-signings are, I think, really good for the team.
Yeah.
Some of these guys that they've re-signed, Mailata got a big contract extension. Lane Johnson, I think, got some more money. Dickerson is the highest paid guard in the league.
Yeah.
I think bringing in Saquon Barkley is a big deal as far as just a fresh face, a fresh star. As far as needs, I'll give my 2 cents in a second. What do you see?
Obviously, the loss of Hassan Riddick kind of stands out, and the lack of perimeter corners also kind of scares me. I would lean defense, just because offensively, I think they sign 2. They have 2-star wideouts, a star running back, and
they better be able to figure
even
it out.
Even without Jason Kelce, Cam Jurgens will slide right in the center. They prepped themselves for that. They had another guy.
Tyler
Steen, who played decent last year.
Last year's 3rd-round pick, I think.
Yeah, so I think if worse comes to worse, they could just say we'll get away with this guy and just focus on pass rushing and like cornerback. That'd be my area of needs is because they've always refueled that D-line, O-line, and this year they could do both, obviously, but I think D-line maybe more.
What's going to be interesting is if Howie is going to be able to pass on a Jackson Powers-Johnson or a Graham Barton or even one of these tackles. Lane Johnson's getting a little older. He, of course, says he wants to play 3 more years. Jurgens could play. He played fine at guard. Might want to leave him there. If Barton or Johnson, they both play center. Yeah. That'd be interesting if he's willing to pass on someone like that and that kind of prospect for a defensive lineman. Like you said, really relying on Nolan Smith, last year's first-round pick. Yeah. A newly signed Bryce Huff. Over from the Jets. Sweat. Graham's final year. That's not the most intimidating group. Yeah. I think they could definitely use that. D-tackle, I think, an underrated need as well.
Really?
I think it's an underrated need as well. Jordan Davis has been up and down in Philadelphia so far. I don't think anyone you could really hang your hat on yet. I think Jalen Carter's on the verge of being a superstar. I like Milton Williams. Though,
yeah, I would say that's probably why they wouldn't. But I mean,
Well, here's the thing. They're going to be switching here to more of a 3-4 hybrid type defense now.
You want more,
which puts probably Milton Williams, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter all on the field at once.
Yeah.
And so with that, you might need, that's really not much behind him now.
Yeah.
So I think D-tackle underrated need. And then cornerback, I'll finish with that, is I think they're going to really need someone. James Bradbury was
ass
last year. He was terrible.
Being late on that.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah.
Darius Slay was better than most people think, but still got a little pouty, got a little Twitter finger happy.
Yeah.
Eagles fans didn't really vibe with him last year. I think cornerback another possible need for them.
Yeah, it's a fun team because they in draft night they usually do some fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So looking forward to seeing what Harry Rosen cooks up this year.
Yeah.
If he moves up maybe for a guy, or I mean, there's so many.
Our last two mock drafts, we had Cooper DeJean and Ennis Rakeshaw, I think.
Yeah. Cornerbacks.
Yeah,
which I think
we'll
that
see.
would be Powers Johnson would be pretty fun.
I'd be so excited. That's how you know I'm an Eagles fan.
Yeah, and Cam Jurgens would just stay right guard. This is how boring. This is not boring.
Little Eagles interior line talk.
Yeah. Who doesn't love little guard talk?
Hey, listen, we're about 50 minutes into the show now. If you're still listening, then you're in it for the long haul.
What's up? Thank you. Yeah. No, but I think Philadelphia, maybe a wideout. I know we talked about Devonta Parker not being kind of, not in the first, second round, maybe in the third, fourth round, kind of they take a flyer on a.
I think Devonta Parker is someone who might not make it out of camp. I think Paris Campbell is someone who they have slotted to be the number 3.
Yeah.
Britton Covey is a guy that they are more comfortable with than I am, but they're definitely comfortable with him. Forgot to put the Eagles logo up there. Sorry. But yeah, I think offense, you can't spend another dime. You have like 6 positions that your top 5.
I mean, defense. Yeah, defensively they brought in Bryce Huff.
I think it's defense, interior line or defense. That's our show for today, guys. Before we let you go, I want to, and we both want to, thank everyone so much. Recently, there's been so much interaction on all the platforms, new subscribers, views through the. I'm not getting choked up.
Tearing up over here.
I'm not. I got some in my throat. I promise. But I do appreciate you guys so much. We don't say that enough. We love our bench warmers. We love all of you who tune in every show. We love that. Love you, love you, love you. Thank you. Even the mean ones who leave mean comments. Thank you as well.
Hey, man. You know what I'm saying? Some people show love in different ways.
Join us next Thursday, April 25th at 4:30 Pacific time for the first ever benched draft party. It's going to be very, very, very fun.
Yes.
That sucker's going to be live.
It's just shooting it live with 4 guys, and 5 guys, and we don't really know what's going to happen draft-wise.
First time doing it.
Also pretty scared about like what's going to be said under our breath, or what gets going to be like, oh, crap, I should have said that on live.
It's going to be very interesting with all of us at Live Mic. So make sure you join us for that. Use hashtag bench draft party. It is free to join. There's no paywall to get past to gain access to that. We're going to be reacting to every first round pick, releasing some exclusive content, and then giving away some merch, some shirts, some hats, stuff like that. Make sure you go to our channel right now, subscribe if you haven't subscribed, and also turn on the notification for that live stream. It's up right now, so you get a reminder to turn that on next Thursday night.
Can't freaking wait. It's going to be freaking awesome.
Be a lot of fun. Also, check out benchshow.com. Announcements, content, articles. David Adams' big board up right now. Go check that out to familiarize yourself with some names before next Thursday's draft. That's all I got. You got anything?
Nope.
We'll see you Friday with the AFC West and South draft needs show. See you then.
Peace.
Bye.